I think that for fiction writers, it is a very hard road to hoe.
Okay.
The people who do it and who succeed at it, if you listen to the biggest champions of it, are going to be people who, as I mentioned, have established their reputation and have built their name recognition through traditional publishing routes. They got an agent, they published through publishers who develop or were able to get their books in stores, were able to do some publicity for them to whatever degree they did. That's becoming less and less of a publisher's function and more of an author's responsibility these days. But that's a financial thing, and I think it really works well for authors in that condition or that position rather, to be able to capitalize on it. I think for the average guy out there who's, I've got a handful of stories, I've got a novel I'm working on, I've heard this wonderful self-publishing world, I've read the articles and blogs and stuff, and all I have to do is put it up there, and next thing you know, I'm a millionaire. It's not going to happen. It could, but it's not going to happen. And you really need to hump it hard if you're going to get your name out there anywhere. And I would recommend to people, to someone in that position, try the traditional publishing route. And things are changing quickly, and I know a lot of writers who will disagree with me that no, just go out there and self-publish and work it hard. And for my, like I said, I have a career outside of writing that I don't intend to abandon, and I have a family, and on top of that, I have a life to live, and then I still have to have a career as a writer, and I don't see me developing this understanding in a whole new. I'm not computer literate. I don't. To me, a computer is a glorified typewriter, and
I know a lot of people that would agree with you.
That
old school writers, and they're like,
right.
No.
And I watch people who can sit there and do this amazing stuff on the computer. Wow, bravo for you. My brain doesn't even. I can't even begin to comprehend what you're doing there. For me, the pen and the paper, and then type, and then I'm done. And then email's cool because I can save on postage. But really, beyond that, if you ask me to do too much more with a computer, or I can't help you. So, and those are skills that people who are going to self-publish, those are the realistic skills that they are going to need to master. They are going to need to understand formatting. They're going to need to, in addition to formatting, they're going to need to know some other realistic skills like, how to do art, how to incorporate all of that together, how to deal with multiple formats, whether it's Nook or Kindle or whatever. And then on top of that, they have to have the financial skills to be their own agent. They're going to have the publicity skills to be their own publicist. And all of those are full-time jobs, and you're dumping it on one person who really doesn't understand the traditional publishing model and where this technology is coming from. And I liken it to free verse poetry, because if you're going to write effective free verse poetry, like T.S. Eliot, for instance, the man was a master at traditional genre poetry, and by genre I mean, I don't mean horror, I mean, elegies and pastorals and that kind of thing. And he was a master at those elements before he ever broke the rules and did free verse. And it's like today we have a lot of people who just sort of, I don't really feel the need to know anything about, about scansion and things like that. And and that's the same way I see with a lot of self-published stuff. And,
Gotcha.
and that is the reason why I think self-publishing developed a stigma to begin with of crap. You know what I mean? And I don't think that reputation was deserved, but I think that there was enough crap out there that it was able to sort of obscure the good stuff. And I think that while that reputation is changing and it's going away because a lot of people who have already established their name are going back and releasing their old stuff that was professionally edited, that was their backlist of stuff, and now they're getting some new life on it. But again, those things were all benefiting from the traditional publishing model, and they're bringing it forward into a new environment. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that, because there's so much of that out there. And then one last question, which I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, because you see so much now going to the theaters, and if a production company came to you to option one of your books, what would Joe Mckinney where would you like to start? What would you like to see made first?
Oof. I would love to see. I would love to see all of it made, but I think the logical first choice would be Dead City, and Dead City was really my writing style is I will sit and rehearse a scene in my head before I ever sit down to write it, and so people have told me that it comes across. This would make a perfect movie, and well, I agree, because that would be,
huge.
That would be a nice shot in the arm for the old bank account, definitely. So that would be nice. But that's the way I think of it, is in terms of a movie and kind of blocking it off in my head. So while I have no training in film production or anything, I think I do think about scenes with that point of view, untrained as it may be. And so anyway, that's where a lot of those scenes come from, and Dead City was certainly blocked very intentionally from a cinematic kind of viewpoint. And it takes place entirely in one night. There's lots of car crashes and zombie crowds and the entire skyline of San Antonio on fire, and so there's some huge visual images that I think would be a natural for for the cinematic stuff. I would love to see Apocalypse of the Dead made as a miniseries, which I think we may start seeing a lot more of.
But The Walking Dead has opened the doors for
we have
success now.
And we have obviously the Sookie Stackhouse books have translated well. The Walking Dead, of course, which was beautifully done, I thought, and I've heard mixed opinions, but I'm firmly in the end. I loved it. And then Game of Thrones, of course, is doing well, and so yeah, there's that idea of doing longer books as miniseries or series as miniseries. I think plays out well, and I don't think that's a new invention either. I remember as a kid watching the John Jakes novels, the Civil War novels done as a miniseries, and I think
Shogun was a miniseries.
Right, exactly. So we're certainly not. Our generation didn't come up with this stuff.
And of course, Stephen King had tremendous success with his miniseries.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly right. And of course, they did most of the stories from Nightmares and Dreamscapes as little 30-minute, hour-long vignette kind of things. So yeah, it's certainly nothing new, but I think we can see a lot more, or anticipate a lot more of that in the future as it becomes a commercially viable alternative. And then I think each one of them would have benefit in some way. Dead City and Flesh Eaters would probably translate best onto the big screen, and I would really love to see Dead City done as a either as a graphic novel or as an animated movie. I think it could play well done in an animated way, maybe even CGI.
So then we need to let the producers and the directors and the new students coming out of film school
That's
who
right,
see
come
this
talk.
interview, come talk to Joe McKinney,
Mm-hmm.
look at some of his projects, and sit down, and that would be a great place to start. And
By all
let's
means.
let's get the man on film.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
get the work out there, because as many fans out there that enjoy your novels and enjoy your short stories, as one of them myself, it would be just exciting to see it hit the big screen. Joe, thank you for your time.
Thank
I
you.
thank you for sitting down with us at deadburiedandback.com
It was a
and
pleasure.
just sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate it. And we wish you success with Flesh Eaters
Thank
and
you.
in all your future endeavors.
Appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
more than welcome. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.